Today I'm looking at a Checkmate CZ Model 27 in 32 caliber ACP or 7.65 millimeter Browning. This is a neat little pistol that I picked up for a really good price, under 150 bucks. I suspect for two reasons. First of all, because the ad listed it improperly as an FN Herstal manufacturer, because of this kind of confusing abbreviation here, which is actually the name of the factory where it was produced. But regardless, the other reason is that the magazine is seated in the magazine well pretty firmly, and in fact it was damaged pretty well trying to remove it, and also as a consequence of that the slide remains constantly locked back. We're just going to go ahead and clear it real quick, and today I'm going to remove the grips and see what I can remove in the internal assembly to free that magazine and get the gun running again. Before I do that though, I do see a little burr on the edge of the barrel and a little bit on the bottom of the frame here, and while the slide is conveniently held back, I'm going to take this time to just knock those off real quick. I'm just going to do that using a small needle file. Funny, I can actually tell by the draw on the steel that the steel is a pretty soft alloy, and actually the CZ27 is a predecessor to the CZ Model 24, which was a more powerful cartridge, and the 27 was adopted as a means of manufacturing it as a blowback pistol, which required significantly fewer resources to manufacture. Now, when dealing with nicks of this size, you can't really file them out without removing a significant amount of metal. The best thing you can do is smooth them up. So after the file, I'm going to hit it with the ceramic stone here, which is actually a sharpening stone from Spyderco. I'm just looking here to gently remove any raised edges. Alright, now we're going to take the grips off. Since I have a pretty small garage / home workshop, I'm using the Wheeler Engineering Space Saver Kit, because it's important to have a good set of gunsmith screwdrivers, and this is a pretty small, compact, and inexpensive set. Yes, you may notice that the magnet has come loose from my screwdriver, so the bit removes itself constantly. A common problem I've found with the Wheeler screwdrivers. Alright, both screws removed. Now we'll remove the grips at this point, which you'll notice are pretty severely damaged as well. Still a toss-up whether I want to try to fix those with epoxy or buy a new set. Okay, so looking at the interior workings here, it's a very simple frame. It doesn't even have a rear portion to the beaver tail, which many pistols do. It looks like the magazine release is just a simple leaf spring assembly here, with this screw going in to provide tension. So the first thing I'm going to do is back that screw up just a little bit to back off the tension, which should free the magazine release from touching the magazine at all. I don't think I'm going to want to remove that screw all the way. I just don't think it'll be necessary. So we can see there how the magazine body is really stuck in the frame. But what I don't see is any physical blockage that would cause that to be the case. One thing that I will try is to take a little bit of oil and just squirt it into where the magazine is and see if I can loosen up any friction. We're going to look down through the top of the slide too and see if anything in there indicates that there would be an obstruction up inside. And personally, I don't see anything. But we're going to shoot just a little in there too. And all I'm doing is trying to get that oil to penetrate the surfaces of the magazine, reduce the friction a little bit. One thing that I do want to try here, I'm not going to go to town on it, but I want to get a punch that'll seat on the lip of that magazine. I've got it locked down in the vise here, and I'm going to drift it a little bit. That seemed to work somewhat. And there we go. Turned out to be that simple. I think that teaches us a pretty important lesson in gunsmithing and just basic gunsmithing, gun maintenance in general. If somebody had thought through the problem a little more, they might have been able to fix their own gun instead of mangling the magazine to the point that shortly after I removed it, the whole thing exploded pretty much. But on the other hand, if you know just a little bit about guns and you're able to think your way through a problem, you might find a pretty good deal on a gun that's really easy to fix. So I'll order a new magazine from Triple K and maybe a new set of grips, or maybe I'll epoxy these up, and I'll do a video on that if I do. And then within a couple weeks, this piece of history will be out at the range and able to shoot again. So hope you learned something from this video. If you want more gunsmithing content, subscribe to the channel or check out my website at potsprecision.com. Thanks.